Good morning, everyone. Time for another little adventure. This time I am in Skipton, and I'm going to be heading out on the Dales highway. I'm picking it up here rather than at the start in Saltaire. I'm going to go as far as Sedbergh on the Dales highway, hopefully, and then from Sedbergh I'm going to make my way to Kendal in the Lake District. There I will be meeting Mark from Trick of the Trail. He's going to meet up with me on Friday morning and we're going to have a little stomp around the lakes. I am going to be doing the tour of the Lake District, which is about 110 miles. It's a loop that takes in most of the sites and the peaks, doing the high version of that. And Mark is going to be joining me for a few days on that, and then he'll be going back and I'll be heading off on my own, or at least that's the plan. So originally I was going to start this hike in Saltaire, but having to meet Mark on Friday morning, I've just had to jump up the trail a little bit and start from here instead. Good afternoon, everyone. Just before 2 p.m, and this is my second trig point of the day. I am on Wheat's Top at 414 metres. I think you can still see my first trig point this morning, where I wasn't able to film properly because it was extremely wet and extremely windy. But that was the peak in the centre of the screen there. It's been an odd day. The scenery has been mostly like this, to be honest with you. It's nice, but it's very barren. It's been overcast. It actually looks as though it's brightening up a little bit this direction, the direction I'm headed. But it has been overcast most of the day so far, and there's been quite a lot of rain. I would say from anywhere from a light drizzle to a heavy drizzle, enough for me to put the waterproof on anyway. Look at these dry stone walls. They are everywhere and they are huge. They just snake across this landscape everywhere you look. It must have taken so long to build them. But yeah, it's not been a bad walk so far. The paths are all pretty easy, pretty well marked. There's a lot of stiles and gates to negotiate, obviously because there's a lot of fields and a lot of sheep grazing. So, yeah, a lot of nettles in one or two spots, and quite a few boggy areas as well, but I've managed to avoid a foot soaking so far. Just want to show you this, whatever it is over here, this really old stone post. Interesting. Headed down again now. Look at, there's just nothing at all. I've passed through two little villages. One was called Flasby. It was basically just a little hamlet, not a great deal there at all. And then the other one was Hetton, I think it was called. A few more houses there. There was a very, very fancy looking restaurant called the Angel at Hetton. I believe there was a Michelin star sign outside. It looked like the sort of place where royalty would dine. It looked very expensive and very nice. But it is quite a nice landscape. See some moo cows grazing. Morning, it's about 8:45. I am in a little North Yorkshire market town of Settle. That's where I stayed last night. Yesterday afternoon was a real wet affair, very windy on the tops as well. Not very pleasant, to be honest with you. And I got into town at the time. It was kind of difficult to muster the energy and find the time to get out of town and find somewhere to camp. So I stayed in Settle, and I'm glad I did. I had a really, really nice sleep last night, a really big breakfast this morning, and I'm going to be headed up Ingleborough, I believe, today, and towards the famous viaduct. I think is it the Ribblehead Viaduct? I can't remember. But yeah, famous viaduct. Look at this couple of weirdos on a bench here. Anyway, twinned with Bagnols-sur-Mer, which isn't that where the GR10 or the GR11 finishes or starts? Can't remember. Anyway, yep, more rain expected today. I think we've got a couple of dry hours this morning. A wet afternoon, and then supposedly drying up around 6-7 p.m. So we'll see how things go. Well, the weather has changed dramatically this morning. When I set off, it was just drizzling a tiny little bit, and it got worse the further I went on the trail. At one point, I had to stop and put the waterproof top on, and just after that, it absolutely bucketed it down. Maybe about 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. I pushed on up onto the hillsides, and it kind of petered out, and as you can see, it's actually got out quite nice now. Certainly nicer than it has been. Well, good afternoon. This is the summit of Ingleborough, one of the Yorkshire Three Peaks, 723 metres. Quite a popular spot as well, lots and lots of Duke of Edinburgh kids around. But when I was at the bottom of here, I looked up and it was all shrouded in cloud, you couldn't see a thing. And now, even though it is overcast, you can see the view. It's pretty nice. To be honest with you, it wasn't even that bad a climb up. It was very, very gradual until the last maybe quarter of a mile. Then it got kind of quite steep. So as two ladies just pointed out to me, where I wasn't technically the summit. It's just a little walk further on the plateau at the top. Not come all this way to be cheated out of it. So go on there and just touch this trig point, and that'll be Ingleborough done for me. Done. It's a superb view from up here. The rain is just starting to come down again. It's really windy as well. I was hoping to be able to get the drone up, but no such luck in this wind today, unfortunately. There is a like a wall shelter thing over there. Might go and sit behind that for a bit. Hope this rain passes. Just look at that. There's a beautiful view. The weather's improved this afternoon. There's been a few odd showers and there's still a decent bit of wind. Keeps coming and going. It does look threatening in some directions, but it's stayed off for the most part this afternoon. I've got to admit, today's been a lot more enjoyable than yesterday was, even though it's been a very much longer day as well. About 2 o'clock this afternoon I was kind of thinking I should be calling it, and here we are at 5:30 and I'm still going. So it'll be interesting to see how far I end up doing today. There's been loads more people around on the trail today as well. Hardly saw a soul yesterday, but today, I guess we'd been near Ingleborough and Whernside, that sort of area. There's obviously a lot more people around out enjoying the countryside. A lot of Duke of Edinburgh kids. Not looking very happy in the pouring rain, to be honest with you, but then again, neither was I don't think. But just down in the bottom of this valley here, there's a little village or town called Dent. Someone has told me there's a caravan and campsite down there. I've been looking for somewhere to camp up here because it's been quite nice, but whereas it looks as though it's absolutely fine on the grass, just below the grass there's basically limestone pavement, and a couple of places I've tried you can't even get your trekking pole tips in, never mind tent stakes, and all other places are just far too uneven. Be like sleeping on egg cartons, oversized egg cartons. Just dropped my sticks, and I'm not afraid to admit it was very difficult to bend down and pick them up again. I think I've probably done too much today, but never mind. Like I say, it's been pretty enjoyable today. So onwards, and for a change, downwards in the direction of Dent. From Dent, I've only got roughly 6 or 7 miles, I believe, to Sedbergh, where I need to divert towards Kendal, and then I'll be staying in Kendal tomorrow night, so it should be an easier day tomorrow, hopefully. He says fingers crossed. So this is the little village of Dent where I stayed last night. It's like something out of the 1800s. It's very much an oldie worldy town. That's the only place that does food in the village, the George and Dragon pub. There's another pub just behind me. You see the sun. And there is a little shop as well somewhere. I think I walked past it on the way in yesterday. So today, got a little bit of an issue with my left leg. That's hurting My left calf is hurting. So I'm going to get to Sedbergh, see how I feel when I get to Sedbergh. And then if needs be, I can take a bus to Kendal from there. It'll also depend on time as well. So let's get moving before it starts raining again. So whilst I remember, I should actually say that on the Dales Highway you don't actually pass through Dent, but at one point it's literally like a 2-minute detour just down a little side road and you're into the village. It takes no time at all, and it's, in my opinion, it's totally worth a stop in just for refreshments and to have a look around the little village, because it is a beautiful little spot. That you can see there, that is the campsite that's on the edge of the village. So that's as you come in from, as you're heading towards Sedbergh, that's on the Sedbergh side of the village. So again, you wouldn't actually pass through it, but there is a point where you can just detour to it quite easily if you're needing the campsite.